my name is Rakish, and this is modeling or rigging shadow part like 6, I think, or 7, but it is modeling shadow part 16. Very good. So, we make sure my recording is recording audio. Very good. Alright, now, we're going to get started with the spine rigging. So what we are going to do is we're going to select the rig here. We're going to, first things first, we're going to select the 3 bones here, and we're going to hit Control I to select the inverse of all of that, and then we're going to hit H. We're going to hide it. We don't want it. We don't want to see it. All right. um, this is still Darius, yeah. But just so you know, because I'm silly, I will be switching my accent a lot, just because I can. So prepare yourselves for that. Whoopsie daisy. Now. So, the first thing we need to do, we're going to change the display just for a second back to octahedral, because we're going to hit, once you subdivide that, make sure you do that, hit Alt-P on this one and disconnect the bone. We're going to rotate this about 180 degrees, and we're going to separate it, just for a little bit, Now, what we're going to do, we're going to hit Z just so that we can see where for effect. Let's hide shadow too. Why not? So now when we go back in here, oops, let's hide that too. All right. So now we go back in here, we have, the rig. So the spine rig isn't too complex. Actually, if you just want to, use this is actually, it's a real simple solution. But now the hip, it still controls the rest of everything, but you can now rotate the upper body independently, and you can actually do pelvic motion. However, the way Rigify has it set up is a bit different, and so I'm going to set it up the way that Rigify has it set up. Well, similar. I'm not going to do the entire complicated thing, but I'm going to do something very similar. So, what we need to do is just for visual reasons right now, we're going to separate the hips from the rest of the spine. I'm going to select the bottom of every single one of these bones here and hit E. Alright, make sure they're aligned properly, and then this one didn't get extruded, but that's alright. Just make sure that it's aligned. There we go. So, in order to make sure they're aligned, just make sure that the bone roll is the same for all of these. The bone roll, because we rotated this one, it got flipped, so we'll just rotate that like so. All right. So now we have to parent these a specific kind of way. It'll look complicated, but in all actuality, it's not. So first, select the hips bone here, and then select this bone, and then Control P, keep offset, and then select this bone and then Control P. It's already parented, so select this bone, and then select this bone, Control P, keep offset, and then select this bone and this bone, Control P. Whoops, no, not that bone. Hold up. I think okay, so we selected this one and we selected that one and made that the parent, and then we Control Z, all that. Okay, so first, this bone, because this whole process is very confusing. This bone, select first, and then, is there another bone here? Okay, so shift select that, Control P, keep offset. Okay. Then select this one, and then select this one. Okay, so this, that, this. That means this, that, this.
But anyway, okay, so it should be connected. So let me select these, keep offset, select these, should be parented, select these, keep offset, select these, should be parented, and then select these, keep offset. Okay, so once you have that all parented, you might want to replay that a few times to make sure you got it right, because I I know it's confusing, so just try to follow as closely as possible, and you'll succeed. Now, we're going to make three. Whoops, we're going to make three control bones here. So I'm just going to shift duplicate those on the Y. All right. Now, clear the parent. Clear the parent from these bones. And these will be our control bones for the spine. Okay? So, phew. Now, the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to add a copy rotation constraint on some of these parent bones that we made here. So, go. Alright, so let's just stay in this layer here so that we can not be confused. Alright, so first thing we need to do is select this bone, and then select this one, Control-Shift-C, copy, whoops, not location. Control-Shift-C, copy rotation. Alright, and then for select the top one, and then this one up top, Control-Shift-C, copy rotation. Now, we're going to select that one and that one, Control-Shift-C, copy rotation. Select the top and this one, Control-Shift-C, copy rotation, and then select this one and this one, Control-Shift-C, copy rotation. So, what that basically did is that this now controls that, and that controls that. But this should be controlled by the top first. And so let's go to the constraint menu and change the influence of that. There we go. So now we have a the pelvic can thrust. So let me just show you what we just did. So now the pelvis, not the pelvis, but the middle of your body can be tweaked individually from the rest of your body. You still have your hip pelvic thrust motion, and the top, is controlled. But we're not quite finished yet because we want it set up so that when we move this bone here, the top of the not just these two bones move, but this also follows it, and then we can tweak it individually or separately from the rest of it. All right. So what we want to do is we're going to tab back into edit mode. We're going to add a parent bone to this right here. So Shift D, duplicate that, move it up on the Y, scale it down, and then hit Shift S cursor to selected, and then select the bone, Shift S selection to cursor. And there we go. And then we're going to select that and that, Control P, keep offset. And we're going to add a copy rotation from the bottom one. Then we're going to add a copy rotation from the top one. So now, all right, we're gonna tweak that. We're gonna change this influence to 0.5. So now, rotate the top. The whole upper torso follows, and we can still tweak it from here. Now you might be confused. You might be asking, how does this match what Rigify has? Well, I'm going to show you how to match that in just a minute. So first thing we need to do now is we need to in edit mode, in edit mode here, we're going to want to Shift S cursor to selected, and we're going to move these back to where they should be. So Shift S selection to cursor, and then Shift S, selection to cursor. All right. Now, what we need to do is we're going to hide all the bones that we don't need. But before we do that, we're going to give the bones that don't have a parent parented to the root bone. All right. So these, in fact, let's go make sure that I'm not sure what layer the root bone is on. Okay, it's on that layer. No, it's on this layer. Okay, good, very good. So we're going to select all the bones that don't already have a parent, and I'm pretty sure. Let's see, what's that? Okay, that's parented to the hips. What are you parented to? The hips. Okay, alright. So these all have a parent. Alright. So, we're going to gonna make sure that these are all parented to the root bone. Control P, keep offset. Alright. So now everything should follow appropriately. Very good. So now we are going to move these, pretty much all of these here, to a separate layer. Well, let me see. Do the hips need to move to? Yeah. You can actually move this entire chain here to a separate layer. But make sure, before you do that, make sure that you hit Shift S, cursor center, not cursor center, my bad. Shift S, cursor to select it. Make sure your cursor is right there. We're going to need it right there. Okay? So, now, select all these here and move them to the layer below it. Alright, so now, in edit mode, we're going to, oh shoot, I moved the pivot point. It's okay, just go to your layers, open that back up, Shift S, cursor selected. Okay, be real careful about your pivot point. Now, in edit mode, make this bone, actually, keep this bone the same size. Make this bone slightly larger, and then make this bone slightly larger than that one. Alright, now, we're going to hit Shift S, selection to cursor. Alright. Shift S, selection to cursor. Shift S, selection to cursor. Shift S, selection to cursor. There we go. Now that that's all centered, if I so basically now these bones right here will be the control for the spine, but we have to add bone shapes to these so that it all makes sense. So I'm going to unhide, this is a control tab, I'm going to unhide shadow here and everything else. And so now we see exactly what's happening here. Alright. But now we're going to want some controls to or bone shapes so that they are controlled properly. So over here I'm just going to make a few circles. Alright, so now we got the circles. Make sure, so we got our axes here, so Y is up top, Z is that, X is that. So we need to align these properly with each bone. So hit Control period to make sure that it's oriented from each individual origin. And let's turn on axis for one of these just so that we can see exactly what we're doing here. Okay, so Y needs to be up top, Z needs to be up front, and X, if I remember correctly, Y, Z, X. Okay, good. So we only have to rotate these 90 degrees. rotate it negative 90 degrees. Make sure it's negative 90 degrees. It has to be negative. Okay. So now they're oriented properly, and now if we tab into edit mode here, we can rotate them back 90 degrees. Each individually rotate 90 degrees. Rotate 90 degrees. There we go. Okay, so now they're oriented like the bones are, but their visual representation is what we need them to be. So, now, so the bottom one, I'm going to go to the bones here. I'm going to select the smallest one. I'm going to go to the bone, custom shape, and it's circle 002. Alright, so that's decent, but let's scale it up in edit mode just a little bit. And let's move it down also. Alright. So now it matches the actual visual transformation of the hips. So we have that. Now for this one, we're going to give it 001, and we're going to make this one in edit mode. You edit the actual visual representation of the bone in edit mode. Just remember that. Make that slightly larger than the hips and move it up. And make sure when you select the bone, you turn on wireframe so we can see it when we're not in wireframe view. And then you see that this affects the visual transformation of that section. Alright, and then the last one, we're going to give it the bone shape of circle, and we're going to scale up. Oops. I'm going to select that. We're going to scale it up so that it's bigger than all the other ones, and then we're going to move it up also. So now we have all that set up properly. And now we can simply move these to the back layer. And let me select that, turn on wireframe. So now we have the 3 bone shapes needed for proper deformation, and everything's working just fine. Alright. So that is the spine rig, and then you can bring back all the other bones that we will be needing to animate. Alright, and let's change this back to B-bone. I keep it at B-bone because I don't like to make a bunch of I don't like to make a bunch of custom bone shapes. I only make bone shapes for the bones that I know they'll need to be represented by bone shapes. These, like the spine, these are gonna have to be represented by that. Oh yeah, and just move this to the bottom layer too. Okay. Now, one last thing we need to do is the hips. The hips here need to control everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a copy transformation. So change it back to octahedral display. Change it back to octahedral so we can see what we're doing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a copy transformation to the hips. So first things first, I'm going to move the hips back to this layer, and I'm going to select that. No, select the hips, select this, Control-Shift-C, copy location, select that, select these, Control-Shift-C, copy location, and then select that and select the top one if I can find it. Here we go. Control-Shift-C, copy location. And then I'm going to give the hips a bone shape, the shape of a cube. So I'm going to Shift S, cursor to selected. Shift A, cube. I'm going to tab into edit mode. X, delete, only faces. And I'm going to make sure that it's oriented properly so that we can do the editing that we want. So axis. So on this axis, the Y is down, the Z is forward, the X is up, or the X is on the side. So the X is still on the side, the Y is down, and the Z is forward. Okay, so let's rotate it 90 degrees so the Y is down, and then rotate this on the Z 180 degrees. So now Y is down, the Z is forward. And we're going to go to the bone settings here, custom shape, cube. Whoopsie daisy. No. What cubes? This is cube 002. So make this, make the bone here cube 002. There we go. And tab into edit mode here. And we're just going to move that down. Scale that. Well, actually, we'll just scale it up. Alright, so this right here is the control mechanism for the entire hips area, or the entire upper torso. And we can move that here. And now, let's go back to our bone layers here. And, alright, I forgot to make this visible without it. There we go. So, let's go back to our layers here. Select all of these and all of these. So now we have our character. He's able to move around. And we have our spine rig ready to go. Alright, guys. So, really, he's done. He's finished. This rig is completely finished. Well, it's finished for me. I'm not going to do anything else to it. Just adding all those bone shapes is really tedious and annoying to me. So that's why I keep it at B bone. I adjust the size of each B bone for, you know, what it does. So, that's it for me. Let me make this smaller just for me. So, so how long have I been recording? 22 minutes. Okay, so a few more things I'm going to do because I'm going to make this not the last tutorial because I might show you how to animate them, but I will show you some deformation issues you should try to fix. So select that. So the head should control this area. That's fine, but the ear bone here should not control all of that. So we're going to select that. Alright, make sure you have see-through turned on. I'm just going to subtract all of that. Make sure you have your subtract strength all the way up to 1. And we're just going to subtract all that weight. We only want the ear bone to control the ear. You know what? The mirror modifier is still on here, isn't it? Yep. Okay, so it's best to when you see this kind of stuff happen, just apply the mirror modifier, hit Alt P, clear parent, and then select it again. Control P with whoopsie daisy. Control P with automatic weights. All right, there we go. So let's go back in here. So the ear bone, it still controls more than half of the face. Just go in and subtract it. Oh, my bad. Before you do that, make sure you have mirror, x-axis mirror turned on in your options. Alright, so just go subtract all that weight that we don't want. Okay, there we go. And then the other ear should be the same. Good. Now this is going to control some of that. You don't want that either. This, that's actually good. This controls a lot of the face that you don't want. What about you? Looks pretty good. Okay. You don't want the shoulders controlling any of the face. So select the shoulder bone, tab into edit mode, select the entire head, go to your vertex groups, and just hit remove. And then do the same thing for the other shoulder bone. Just remove. And there we go. I think that's it. One thing we need to do for the hands that I remember, we want the arm, we want the actual arm here to have influence over the hand. So let's go select the layer where the arms are, or not the hand, but the glove, so that the glove stays in this little hole here. So select that, and then let's go Control Tab and the right, so it doesn't have any influence over the glove. So let's go mix, and we're just gonna put some of that there. All right, just for that. There we go. All right. So now when I rotate the hand IK, it should stay in there. Very good. Very good. Okay. So now Shadow is finished. He is completely done. We have rigged him completely, utterly. Now, if you don't want to follow all the steps used for this rig, you can indeed use Rigify. Oh, and we have an issue here with that. So basically, go to where we have our spine, our deformation bones for it anyway. Now, one thing we did forget to do is we forgot to turn deform off for these bones. So I know for a fact that won't be deforming anything, so turn that off. Turn it off for this, turn it off for this, turn it off for this, and also for the hips. The hips need to form. These do not. So turn it off for these, this, and this. That's my bad. I made that mistake. So now, I'm pretty sure one of these. Okay. So anyway, now, so the spine should only be deformed by that. So we're going to select this, hit Control Tab, select this top spine bone here, the one that we want to deform, this little thing here, his hair, and we're going to just draw, or make sure it's on mix. All right, so that'll be all right. Then select this here, and we're going to continue to go down, 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 and then we're going to select this bottom one, and we're going to let it do that. All right, there we go. And I'll be happy with that. Okay. So, he's all finished. He's rigged. He's ready to go. This is probably the most in-depth rig that I've made a tutorial on making. So like I said, if you don't want to do all that, you can just use Rigify and modify it. But because this was for advanced users, I wanted to show how to make a rig basically from nothing. And you can do that very simply. So thank you all for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more modeling and rigging tutorials, and I will see you all in the next tutorial. In the next tutorial, I might do animation, or I might just end it here. So how long have I been recording? Okay, so because this might be the last one, I'm going to pose him for you guys, just so that I can have something finished, if you catch my drift. I'm just going to rotate that. Okay, and we see one of the things here is off. That's alright, we'll fix that later. Alright, and then let's move both of these back. Alright, so the hand, let's rotate the hand like so. Move that down. Rotate it like so. Alright. And then let's scale this inward so that the finger curls like so. Let's scale this inward. Scale this inward. Scale this inward. Scale that inward. Alright. So, now let's make it in the shape of a fist. And let's close these off. Alright. Let's hide that so we can see. And let's hide these also so we can see. Okay. Just rotate that just a little bit. Just rotate this way, that way. Alright, we got the fist. Whoops, whoopsie daisy. I just want to alt H that. Okay, good. Now we can move this up. Alright, so now we're going to select all these, copy, paste opposite. Alright, and now let's go to material. And here we go. That is Shadow. Oh, his nose is not following the head. I didn't see that. So, select the head bone. We'll select the nose and hit assign. There we go. So, look at that. Alright, and then we can turn on only render here. Okay. So, there you guys go. That is Shadow the Hedgehog. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Again, you all can figure out how to fix that, because I mean, I know how to fix that. It's not bothering me right now, and you know, I mean, I know where this is supposed to go. Where's the tarsal bone at? Let me, because yeah, here we go. Tarsal, assign, booyah, and let me remove it from there just in case. There we go. So that's fixed. So this is Shadow. He's finished now. So thank you all for watching, and I don't know what I'm gonna do for my next series, but I'm gonna do something. So hopefully I'll see you all then. Have a nice day. Bye.